Hi guys, I'm going to be giving a quick tutorial on how to install LAMMPS. A significant amount of what I'm going to be talking about is on the Homework 9 sheet, but I'm just going to be going through it and showing some specifics of where to find various information and what may be useful for just getting started on the lab. So first things first, before you can install LAMMPS itself, there's some prerequisite requirements that you'll need for the installation for LAMMPS to work effectively. And that's over here. The operating system, you can see there's a few examples here, same with the C++ compiler. But for the MPI and the other three down here, I personally used some Intel libraries that I found online. You don't have to use those specifically, but whatever you can find for that, those are the prerequisites. Not much to talk about there. But to start off, actually installing LAMMPS itself, you want to go to this link, and I have it pulled up on the right here already. And when you go there, you'll see a lot of information about various release dates. And I'd recommend just going to the stable release. You don't want to go straight to download. I would recommend checking out the manual. And the reason I say that is because this is the manual page. There's a lot of stuff on here, but in particular for programming the code and for how to actually get a script to run in LAMMPS, using this section right here on how to use Python with LAMMPS is very helpful. Don't want to get too much into the specifics since it talks about it right here, but I definitely recommend going to the manual, especially when you're trying to get a script to actually interact with the LAMMPS setup. But anyway, back to the download itself. So yeah, like I said, back to the download itself. If you go here, you'll find pre-built Windows executables. And if you have a Windows system, which is what I'm using, that's what you'll want to go to. You can also do the Linux executable, which there's a description of later on in the homework. But I'm just going to be going through the Windows one since that's what I have. If you click on that, it'll take you to this tab, and it just talks about some of the various things that are included in the package as a whole. You can feel free to read through it. Don't necessarily have to. But it talks about what's actually in the download to a certain extent. Then to actually get to the download, you want to go to this part right here. The link to this page, you can find it in Homework 9 over here. If you need the 32-bit system, you can click here. You need the 64-bit, which is recommended. You can go to this link right here. And this link takes you to the page that I have pulled up right now. If you go back to this page real quick, the most recent stable release is 23rd June 2022. So you can scroll down and you can find right here, they have the most recent download for the stable release. They also have an MPI, which you can use their version, but I just had already downloaded the Intel library, which should work just the same. So you'll go through and download this. I've already gotten it downloaded. It shouldn't take too long. But when you do download it, pull up files real quick, it will have all of this various information. And if you continue to follow the instructions here, if you look at the Homework 9, once again, you can go to the bin folder right here, scroll down to the LMP file, and this right here is where you see what plugins you have available already. So you can see I only have one loaded in right now, and you can also add in other plugins. Once again, feel free to go to the manual and the other tabs that I showed earlier. That gives a bit more information on the plugins themselves. But once you get to this point, you are about ready to start actually testing the program. what you can do to make sure that everything is working fine is you can make sure you have it set up so that any scripts you make are easily called upon. You can see over here in running lamps with an actual example, there's a pretty basic input. Just try and keep yourself organized, make a folder for various inputs that you want to put in and have clear names. And you can take the script, you can put this in a text file folder in some sort of code application for actually writing Python code. You can write it out. You can name the file where you put this example code. And then once you have this file saved, once you have everything you need in it, you can go back to the LAMMPS software with the input script and type in this command line. This is in the, let me show you real quick. Use the imp folder. Basically, you can use the command that is shown on homework 9 right here in the actual LAMMPS input, and it will begin to run the simulation. So that is the basic setup for the LAMMPS download on Windows. There's also a description on installation here with Linux, but that is fairly similar. It shouldn't take too many extra steps to do that. And then once again, there's a bit more of a description on various follow-up after you do the test example, but that's not what this video is necessarily about. So if you have any questions, feel free to let us know, but also, like I said earlier, go back to the manuals, especially for writing the scripts and connecting the scripts to LAMMPS, because that's probably the hardest part of making sure the scripts actually go along with the LAMMPS software itself. So feel free to go over to this manual and try to check these out in particular on how those are connected. So yeah, once again, feel free to reach out with any questions. Hopefully this was somewhat helpful, and we'll see you all in class.